Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. Secure sectors of lawless space for safe passage for UEE vessels. Ensure sustained presence of UEE within specific areas of lawless space. Explore for new artifacts and technologies. Today I'm joined by two members of the Organization Imperium. So who are you two and what do you do for Imperium?
Well, I'm Cor.
And I'm Ostia.
And we are both sub-commanders of Imperium. However, just saying we are sub-commanders won't mean too much to you unless you understand a little bit more about our structure. So starting from the top, we have Gallatin, who is our fleet commander and overlord and emperor of all things that are. Below him are the four sub-commanders, Chimera, Cor, Dragar, and Ostia. The five of us make up the what we call Fleet Command. Below us are 20 officers who all manage their divisions, and I'll get into that a little bit more later. And below the officers, we have specialists. Now, the specialists themselves don't actually have any authority over members, but they are pretty much very supportive of our officers. They handle a lot of duties and make sure that the organization basically runs like a well-oiled machine. And beyond that, we also have 3,800 members, of which 25% is pretty active, both on the forums, both on TeamSpeak, and both all of that. And everyone's always trying to find a way to contribute, which we always appreciate. Sometimes they want to contribute too much, and then we have to stop them. All right, so moving on from that, I said a little bit something about the divisions we have. So Imperium consists of the primary divisions: military, trade and industry, exploration, and fleet operations. Those are going to be the core that are going to be trying to guide Imperium to whatever goals that we have that we want to achieve. And we also have divisions, which we call special divisions, such as diplomacy, academy, technology, media, and intelligence. Now, most of those kind of, are self-explanatory, but the one that I haven't mentioned yet is human resources. Human resources is not as self-explanatory. For those who have worked in a major organization, they know that human resources are the people you get sent to whenever you squeeze that woman's ass. In our case, it's kind of like that, but they do most of the moderation and conflict resolution within our organization. And they have done a tremendous job at keeping the peace and trying to make sure that, hostile elements and disruptive elements get, either re-educated or removed from the organization. And beyond that, we have diplomacy doing a tremendous job at making sure that we have treaties ready and alliances going for when the game finally comes out. Well, Academy is going to be a little bit more like they're going to be making courses for Imperium, and even for people who aren't in Imperium, they're going to be having courses ready in the sense that people can look at the information, learn it, and kind of absorb that information into their own playstyle. Technology is our pride and joy right now because they are building things for us, many things, grand things on which Ostia is going to elaborate a little bit more later. Media, of course, speaks for itself, and
so like Core, I'm also a sub-commander. We kind of covered that, but I just wanted to share some of the responsibilities that we kind of deal with. Basically, Core and I, along with Chimera and Dragar, most of our time as sub-commanders is actually spent helping out our officers. It's like project managing almost. We basically guide them in their projects, helping them with whatever they happen to need. We meet with our officers bi-weekly, on a bi-weekly basis, and so we go over the needs of the fleet, which are reported to the officers, by members and specialists, handing things forward, and we kind of go over what changes are necessary. And what projects are next on the list. So we basically we see a lot of different projects coming in, and our jobs are basically to help our officers complete those tasks.
What kind of players will your organization suit?
So Imperium advertises as a hardcore organization on RSI, but we're also very realistic with the cycles of activity in any gaming community. So we've set our sights on the most difficult achievements in Star Citizen, right? We want to be there capturing that bangle. We want to be controlling space stations. If CIG allows us to control areas of space, that's something that we'd be interested in as well. But we understand that people have different time constraints, and so we're building systems that allow us to cater to people who have way too much time on their hands, which is fine, as well as people who might only have, a couple hours on the weekend.
I see you as lawful good. I've read a lot of your background already. You're very anti-pirate and pro-UEE. So if you had a Dungeons and Dragons alignment, would it be lawful good?
Lawful good is kind of what our lore insinuates that we are. However, it's not really clearly defined what lawful is in this regard, because we ourselves, as Imperium, will come up with our own COC. We have our own COC. And we will operate by our own laws, and we will, treat people as criminals as we see fit, because, to be honest, a game system superimposing laws doesn't always work, and most of the time, half of the things that are considered illegal are legal anyway. But I don't want to go off in a tangent there. My point is, by our own laws, goals, and mandates, which will coincide a lot with UEEs, we are unfortunately not entirely lawful to UEE standards. As for whether or not we can be considered good, we are anti-piracy, and we are anti-griefing and anti-cheating. And in that that's also the order of severity that we are against it. We are primarily against cheating, then griefing, and then piracy.
Do you allow affiliates in your organization?
No, we do not. Not of any form at all.
And why is that?
The game and Imperium is going to completely absorb our members' time. We will have more than enough things for our members to do, and if they ever become bored, they can find other fleets that have, affiliate statuses with 100 other fleets. But, we can pretty much guarantee our members that they will never run out of anything to do. Anything they want to do, they will be able to do it, and their focus can be, anywhere they like. And we'll get into that a little bit later, but there should be no reason for them to have affiliate memberships. As long as they have friend lists, and we'll see what Orgs 2.0 brings. You never know. CIG could really knock it out of the park with that, but who knows? But for now, we don't allow affiliates just because we want our members' attention fully focused on, Imperium goals.
You are a massive org. What time zones and languages do you cater for or plan to cater for?
Well, because we're in a massive org, and our sub-commanders live on 3 different three different time zones, we have 24-hour coverage. Now, just like any organization, our Oceania region is not as strong as everyone else, but we do have a very, very big member base there. Our main language, our lingua franca, has always been English, and if you want to move up in our organization, you need to know English, and you need to at least have some fluency in it, because as it stands right now, pretty much everyone speaks English. So there's only been a very rare occasion where a member has joined that doesn't speak English.
Is there anything that players can join in with now? Are there regular gaming sessions, voice comms, forums, meetups?
Yep, absolutely. So I wrote this down for myself because there's so much. We have a ton of stuff for members to take part of right now. So the first one I had listed was our TeamSpeak. Obviously, a lot of organizations have their own TeamSpeaks. It's pretty common. If you jump on our TeamSpeak, it's always busy. There are always people there. There's always people having discussions about Star Citizen. They're the same as you and I and Core. We live and breathe Star Citizen. They're always willing to talk about stuff like that, among a plethora of other topics, some of which get a little bit crazy. The other options people have if they want to interact with the community, maybe TeamSpeak isn't their thing, maybe their headset's broken, some random excuse. We have the forums, which is our home and Star Citizen base, and that's actually the largest Star Citizen forum outside of the one on RSI. So we've got a great moderation team there, and there's always plenty of good discussion, theory crafting. Personally, maybe it's a little bit too much theory crafting that goes on there. We still have so much to learn from CIG with mechanic posts and how things are going to work. But that's the same place where we organize game nights, giveaways, and other events like our fleet Q&As, which we hold monthly for everybody. The third place is something we're especially proud of. It's called the Portal. We call it the Portal. What it is, it's very in depth, and I don't think we have enough time to cover all of it. Basically, what it is something where you can go in, and you can basically determine or show what you're interested in. So, if you're a member of Star Citizen Base, once you get to the forums, at the top of the forums, there's a little button that says Portal, and you can click on that. And if you have an account at Star Citizen Base, you'll have an account on the portal. And you can go into this portal, and you can go into your user profile, and you can set up some really cool things. Like you can show what types of missions you might be interested in. We have a variety of things that you can choose from, and of course we keep them updated as we learn more things. Obviously, this past weekend we learned that farming was going to be something that was going to be obviously extremely interesting to people. So that's something that's going to be added in there eventually, you know. So you can list a ton of things. I wish we had time to run you through all this sort of thing, but you can kind of set what you're interested in. There's also a place for you to list your entire hangar, so you can kind of get that set up. And as well, in the future, the portal will be the place where you'll be able to take academy courses from the Imperium Academy. That's going to teach members, you know, basics of flight, basics of FPS, basics of multi-crew, things that can help people who are new to the game understand the mechanics and how to operate in a way that can help them be successful in their missions. And so eventually that will be there. As well as some other cool things. We're developing a couple of systems for the PU that will kind of in real time be able to show people what's going on in different systems, as well as allow you to receive rewards for your additions to the org if you're a member of Imperium. So there's some really cool stuff happening on the portal, and we're really proud of our tech team because they've done a great job. So we encourage anyone who hasn't seen it yet to check it out. It's still a work in progress, but the tech team is doing some mighty fine work there. So there's a lot of ways that people can get involved with the organization right off the bat.
Can you tell me more about your connections to the base? Is it a separate entity from you, or is it all part and parcel of the same thing with Imperium?
All right, well, if I say anything wrong, just tell me I'm wrong. I don't mind.
Okay.
The people need to know. But the base is a completely separate entity. The owner of the base is an Imperium member. Rico is an Imperium member, as well as many of the people who run all the shows that you're familiar with, like the Roundtable and the Friday Night Show and the show on Sunday morning, which is called oh boy,
Roundtable?
he's gonna kill me. No, the one on Saturday morning.
Saturday morning. Oh, you're talking about Friday nights at the base.
No.
I don't know.
The poor guy is going to kill me. Can we edit this out?
No, I'm definitely keeping this bit in.
Yeah, the base is really great. I encourage you to check them out. And I'm sorry to Stavoti because his show is called The Search with Ion Scout. So that's also another great show. So.
Just to chime in a little bit here, Rico is one of the very few people who is allowed to be an affiliate in Imperium, because he's also got his own org, which is specifically related for the base fans, and that's how we have a couple of streamers like that be exceptions, so they're allowed to be affiliates.
So, in your lore for Imperium, it suggests that you're very heavily pro-UEE orientated, but you also implied earlier in this interview that might also be flexible. Can you tell me more what I could expect during my day-to-day life in your org? What sort of missions could I go on as a lawful good person that wants to fly around and kill pirates?
Well, just to do a quick throwback to what I was saying earlier, Imperium... And this is how I've always advocated, and I've always seen it, and I've always felt when I joined. Imperium is about the freedom of movement within an organization. If you want to be a heavy contributor, you can become a heavy contributor to the organization. If you want to do your own thing and help out the org just by collecting taxes and do that sort of stuff, that is completely fine too. But in regards to being restricted in the type of jobs or the type of roles that you would love to do in Imperium, as long as you're not breaking our code of conduct or violating our rules, you have the freedom to explore almost any job opportunity that doesn't, of course, include piracy, cheating, or griefing. Ostia.
Yeah. So we'll be able to accommodate players in any mission role outside the realm of piracy, basically. Obviously, cheating and griefing is something that could apply to anything, depending on what you're doing. But any type of mission, we'll be able to help our members to succeed in, as well as Imperium will have its own sets of missions that we will entrust to our own members, and that's something that's really cool with the portal. I didn't talk about before. The guys on our tech team are also building into the portal something that'll be awesome for the entire community as a whole. But as Imperium, we're building it for ourselves, but we're going to share it with the community because we think it's really cool. And it'll be available on the portal.starcitizenbase.com. So it'll be available to the entire Star Citizen Base community, and obviously it's free to join. Basically, the way this works, if you're an Imperium member, you would log on, come home from work, log on. You could go to the portal, select the tab mission system, and kind of either, if you had something in mind that you've been thinking about all day, like, hey guys, I want to go do some, search and rescue missions, afterwards, this is what I want to do. You want to list it. So you could even list it at work from your mobile phone and say, okay, search and rescue mission starting at, 8 p.m., Eastern Standard Time, which is my time zone. And I'm going to need 10 people with me, and you could just list it there. And so basically what happens is you can either invite your friends to join up through the portal, or you can just wait for anyone who's part of the Star Citizen community, given they meet the criteria that you list. They can just sign up, and you guys can kind of get together and go and do your thing. So we're basically building like a looking for group or group finder tool with a lot more, with a lot of extras.
A lot of customizability. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. So like Cor said, there will be a lot of customizability just because Star Citizen is such a diverse game. It's not like World of Warcraft, where you're looking for a group, you're looking for a healer, a tank, and some DPS, and you're going to one of like 10 places. You could be going anywhere within the verse, and you could be doing anything. And so obviously this requires an extremely elaborate system, and so we're glad we have some geniuses in our pockets. So they're the real masterminds behind all this sort of thing. But this hopefully this gives you an idea like how you might plan out your day and then come home, sit down at the computer, you see that you have a full up group, and then you guys kind of meet wherever you wanted to meet. That'd obviously be specified by yourself. And then you'd go out and complete the mission. So obviously stuff that, Imperium, to keep Imperium running as an entity, we obviously want to incentivize that among our members. So we're still finding ways that we might want to do that. But again, it all very much depends on how CIG presents Orcs 2.0, what kind of tools they give us, and we'll kind of work in tandem with that. But basically, anything from autonomous expedition to resource collection to logistics to escort missions, assault missions, all kinds of stuff.
So can you tell me more about yourselves? What do you see yourself doing in the verse, or yourselves?
Well, everything really. I would love, because Star Citizen, right? And I've been on StarCast for so long that I have talked about all the tiny things that I'm really interested in doing. And I've done that so much to the point where I'm totally desensitized to this question because I just don't know what to think of anymore. But what I want to do in Star Citizen is pretty much everything. But my favorite thing, I'm already doing. Managing Imperium, contributing, and trying to make Imperium into a fucking force to be reckoned with. Yeah, that's what's really making me excited about Star Citizen, because there's so much potential in that game, and there's so much potential in this organization that I am really looking forward to see how that all comes together.
And you, Ostia?
Yeah, personally, kind of the same thing. I'd say that I don't know which part is going to be my favorite. For me, it really depends on, the design documents. Like mining, made me giggle with joy. Farming made me giggle with joy. Stuff like every single time they do this, I start giggling with joy because, I'm just like, oh, this is going to be so awesome. I really don't think I could pick one, and I think some will be more fun than others for sure. But like Core, I mean, I think I get the most enjoyment from helping the officers in Imperium and helping, their specialists, members who have questions, answering questions, helping the org, continue to grow, continue to press forward, improving upon itself. That gives me pride beyond, being able to be a good miner or be a great farmer. I don't think it will ever even come close to how I feel about being part of the organization. So that's personally, I think I'm totally with Core on that one.
What ships do you personally have? And what's your most favoritist ship, or one you're looking forward to the most? Start with Ostia.
Sure. I'm pretty invested in Star Citizen. I think Core and I are at the same level, although he does have an Idris, and I unfortunately do not. I'm hoping that the anniversary sale coming up, I might be able to snag one.
Knowing the difference in our prices, the only difference in the amount that we've pledged is the Idris that I paid for.
Yeah. I think the ships that I'm looking forward to seeing finish most are going to be the alien ships. So the Merchantman, which I own, the Cartual, which I own, the Vandu ships that I own, but they are available, which is kind of nice. But yeah, for sure the Merchantman and the Cartual, I think, are going to be, for me, some really exciting ones. I mean, the Idris is huge and exciting. But I just like the alien tech now. I'm really looking forward to the way that they do the interiors.
And for you, Cole?
Well, I think everyone by now knows that I have an Idris because it was mentioned on StarCast so many times. But yeah, I've spent way too much on this game, and when I say way too much, I mean still not enough because they keep tempting me to spend more money. See, now they were talking about releasing a Prowler at CitizenCon, or a unreleased, never before seen military ship that they've talked about. So we're guessing that's the Prowler, hopefully.
I agree with your guess there.
So if that is true, then I'm skipping buying another fridge and buying another ship or something. I don't know. We'll see how that works out. But they keep coming out with really interesting ships, really interesting concepts. And just to go off of me for a second, my wife recently heard about the fact that the Endeavor has science and research on it, and she read the descriptions for it, and she's the biochemist, and she was like, I'm really interested to see what they can do with that. But I'm also really skeptical that I can really do actual science and research in the game. So it was really fun to see her get excited about something like that. So the fact that Star Citizen is going so diverse with their professions and with their ships and with their stuff,
I mean, if there's a little bit of physics involved with the science, I mean, that would be amazing.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, as a biochemist, if they start, doing stuff with I don't know too much about it, I confess. But if they start doing stuff with with chemistry and with drugs and that sort of stuff, then it should be really exciting to see what they can do. I mean, they kept saying that it was going to be you could be Heisenberg up in space, and everyone's talking about becoming a farmer or whatever. But if they are talking about the purity of drugs and coming up with super pills and shit like that, then it would be really exciting to see what you'd be able to pull off and do.
Where can people find out more about Imperium?
All right. Well, the first place to look is robertspaceindustriescom/org/Imperium. StarCitizenBase.com is one of the largest SC communities out there, and it's also home of Imperium. So the forums of Imperium can be found at forums.starcitizenbase.com. And if you're interested in becoming a member of Imperium, it's a very good place to start, to go to forums.starcitizenbase.com, make an account, start talking, and if you like what you see, apply, and you can jumpstart the process from there. We are working on getting our website updated right now because right now www.startorspace.com has a bit of Imperium on the main page, and we're separating that onto a different website. So very soon, people will be able to follow this link that I'm about to mention. So maybe if you're watching this in the future, go to this link because this will be the go-to link. That will be www.imperium.sc. That will be where you can find our website.
So, is there anything else that you'd like to tell us about yourselves or Imperium?
Well, before Ostia goes on a very long rant about his existence and how he came to be, I would like to ask you, based on what you've heard, do you have any interest in, wanting to learn more about Imperium or, that?
I'm interested in all aspects of Star Citizen. I will have multiple characters because some of them are going to be pirates and some of them are going to be bounty hunters and lore providers. I like large organisations that are well organised, well structured, and give perks and that sort of stuff to orc members. So that's all appealing to me. Your system where you can actually get people involved in looking for man system that saves them a lot of time, that is amazing. I think that will be a real seller for people like me who just go, I would like to structure and plan my day well before I do anything. So yeah, there's lots of stuff I'd like to know about Imperium, but I'm not really sure what to ask.
Well, you can always check us out at forums.startorspace.com and, start asking questions there as they pop into your head. You can also go check out the portal to see what we've started there. I mean, like I said, we haven't actually built the mission system yet, but we're getting there, and we've got a very good tech team, and they've been working almost 8 hours a day for a very long time on something they're not getting paid for. And they're still really excited to be working for us. So we're going to get there, and it's going to be really awesome. Basically we looked at SIG, and we were slightly disappointed at the fact that we still don't have Orgs 2.0. And for a large organization like us, and there are other large organizations out there, not having the basic tools to manage your members is almost makes it impossible to keep track or manage anything on RSI right now. So we've decided to take matters into our own hands and do everything through our portal, and stuff like having our forum permissions linked to our TeamSpeak permissions, stuff like making sure that the portal processes recruits for us, the fact that RSI now kind of gets updated based on what we have on the portal, and trying to manage all of those things would be impossible if we had to do it by hand. We'd have to have 100 people doing this all the time to try and manage it. Well, at least, when in the earlier days. Now we have a handful of people doing it because everything is automated. And trust me, it feels awesome.
In general, if anyone's listening to this and they think, well, maybe Imperium might be the right thing for me, just take the time and come over to SCB, sign up, and look at some of the tools that we were providing on the portal. I know Core already went on and on about it, but it is really something special, and I think that anyone who goes there and looks at it will immediately recognize that. And I don't want to toot our own horns or anything like that, but I know a lot about other organizations, and I can guarantee you that I have not yet seen one that has put this much effort into pre-planning and trying to anticipate the needs of their own organization to this level. So if that's something that interests people, then they should I really encourage them to check this out.
Here we go. I am Core.
And I am Ostia. And I'm a Star Citizen.
We are Star Citizens. Whatever. It didn't work.
Hashtag no coordination.
That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect.